things. So let's talk about Mixer here. We've known that Mixer is an underdog. Mixer is the minnow when it comes to streaming and content creation platforms. And the numbers have reflected that Mixer was going absolutely nowhere. The only chance that Mixer had at any growth is probably not the growth that Microsoft would have wanted. And that is with the copyright Mageddon stuff that happened over on Twitch. Then people who couldn't let the copyrighted music go in an environment where there was more policing of who's using what in their broadcasts on Twitch, they could go over to Mixer and stay under the radar for however much longer that would have been. But now, that option's being eliminated. So now every single platform is going to have some semblance of stuff like what YouTube has at this point. So what that means in terms of... I'm actually curious what this means for YouTube as well. But yeah, sure, Facebook was directly named in the press release about Mixer ceasing operations. But YouTube definitely has something to gain from this as well. And this is going to have so many tiebacks to all the stuff that we've been talking about. Exclusivity, the Twitch Bowl effect, Twitch copyright Mageddon, everything we've been talking about on this show now has a role to play in this discussion about where things go from here. We are at that point, ladies and gentlemen, where it's time to start talking about what's next. And it's not just with regards to where the Mixer folks are going, but I'm thinking of mixing a few things up of my own when it comes to what platforms I do what on. I did try streaming on Mixer once, and it wasn't all that great of an experience. It was kind of depressing seeing features that I've associated with Twitch and OBS missing on Mixer. And of course, whereas even on a platform with as horrendous of discoverability as Twitch, I at least have seen people come and go while I've been streaming. That didn't happen on Mixer. It stayed at 0 viewers or 1 viewer, depending on whether or not Streamlabs Stream Elements was counted as a viewer. And it never, ever moved. Not a good first impression of Mixer. I have the stream saved. I am probably going to send it to YouTube at some point just for archival purposes now. But yeah, I tried streaming on Mixer once. And yeah, all right. So there are lots of things I could do and lots of ways that I could approach this hot issue of Sayonara Mixer. But what I think I want to do is I want to begin with the official press release itself. Start with firsthand what the Mixer team posted, and then add all the opinions and speculation and stuff afterwards. And then after the intermission, let's take a look at Twitter and see what people have been saying and what organizations have been saying. But all of that is not before a lot of discussion, beginning with the press release itself. Yay! It's on screen. Let's blow it up a bit so it'll be nice and easy to read. Facebook Gaming and Mixer posted June 22nd, 2020, 11:30 a.m. And it is, I've been like a kid on Christmas, waiting to get out of work and get over here and start talking about this stuff. Facebook Gaming and Mixer. All right, let's take a look at this. Most of you probably already know the news by now if you've been following this. But hey, just for completeness' sake. From the beginning, Mixer has been about creating the most engaging and interactive live streaming experience. We set out to help streamers build great communities based on deep engagement with their audience. You all have been amazing throughout this journey. The Mixer community has focused on creating welcoming and inclusive communities, and you should be proud of what you have accomplished together. Here's the part I'm most interested in. Paragraph 2. Ultimately, the success of partners and streamers on Mixer is dependent on our ability to scale the platform for them as quickly and broadly as possible. It became clear that the time needed to grow our live streaming community to scale was out of measure with the vision and experiences that Microsoft and Xbox want to deliver for gamers now. So we've decided to close the operations side of Mixer and help the community transition to a new platform. To better serve our community's needs, we're teaming up with Facebook to enable the Mixer community to transition to Facebook Gaming. This is a key part of a broader effort that Xbox and Facebook Gaming are embarking on, bringing new experiences and opportunities to the entire world of gaming. The Facebook gaming team and creators will help expand the vision that Mixer has always held around community and building a platform that is inclusive and supportive of each other. For Mixer's streamers, this opens up the opportunity to reach the vast audience of one of the world's fastest growing streaming platforms. Every month, more than 700 million people play a game, watch a gaming video, or interact with a gaming group on Facebook. For Facebook Gaming's creators, I should say. This brings the ability to partner closely with the Xbox ecosystem, including future opportunities around Xbox Game Pass, Project xCloud, and more. Sounds pretty cool, actually. Facebook Gaming is making it easy for everyone in the Mixer community to join if they choose to do so. Mixer partners will be granted partner status with Facebook Gaming, and the platform will honor and match all existing partner agreements as closely as possible. Mixer partners will receive an update from Mixer today on how to kick off the sign-up process update. They can also visit this site on desktop, connect their Mixer account, follow the prompts. Streamers participating in Mixer's open monetization program will be granted eligibility for the Facebook Gaming Level Up program, where you can continue to grow and monetize your streams. Facebook Gaming will also fast-track onboarding for eligible streamers. They can also visit the transition site on desktop, connect their Mixer account, and follow the prompts. Mixer viewers can also, at that site, connect their Mixer account. Facebook Gaming will show the Facebook pages for all the available Mixer channels you follow, so you can easily follow them on Facebook. Facebook Gaming will offer a few special welcome packs for viewers who visit from Mixer.com. In the coming weeks, we encourage all Mixer viewers to spend their remaining Embers and Sparks to help support your favorite Mixer partners and streamers, the currency, of course. Mixer partners will receive double payment for all of their earnings in the month of June, so your support of Embers, Sparks, and channel subscriptions for Mixer partners will go even further during the rest of this month. Hold off on the opinions until we've gotten through this, though. Viewers with outstanding Ember balances, channel subscriptions, or Mixer Pro subscriptions will receive Xbox gift card credit as a thank you for your engagement on the platform. Details of what you can expect can be found at the frequently asked questions. The Mixer service will continue to run through July 22nd, 2020. After that, Mixer.com will redirect to Facebook Gaming, Facebook's desktop home for gaming video. Mixer broadcasting on Xbox One will be temporarily disabled, and the Mixer apps will notify or redirect viewers to continue watching their favorite streamers on Facebook Gaming. For more details on what this means for you, check out the frequently asked questions. Thank you, Mixer community, for your engagement and passion on this journey. We have accomplished so much together, and we want to thank you all, partners, streamers, moderators, and viewers. And we hope to see your continued positive, welcoming, and inclusive ideals continue on at Facebook Gaming. Bada bing. Let's check out the FAQ here, see what they have for this. What happens to the Embers and Sparks? Those go away. Spend them, of course. That Mixer partners receive double payment. See your support. Okay, they just said this in that sort of thing. Any unspent Sparks will be forfeited after the site closes down. So the Xbox card, etc., by July 31st must be spent by September 30th. So this is all an exit plan. And here's the interesting thing here. This kind of exit plan for closing this service is something that Microsoft would have had corporate resources working on for quite some time to figure all of this out. It's kind of like if you ever get laid off and you get brought into an exit interview, it's not even worth trying to argue about losing your job, because the decision has already been made. By the time HR has gone to all the trouble, there's a lot of work that's gone on to cement that you are leaving the company. So yeah, but this is basically an organizational version of it. The fact that all of this exists, there was a lot of work that was going on. Somebody way up the chain at Mixer put this under NDA and said, this is our business decision, make it happen. And there were people under deadlines and whatnot to come up with this, no doubt. It's the way corporate America works. What happens to VODs? Of course, you need a written request, but you basically want to get rid of everything before the service shuts down. There will be no more applications for partnerships. They're sending people over to Facebook. Bottom line, the decision is to help out Facebook, which is, let's see, after July 22nd, we'll turn off the ability to stream to Mixer from your Xbox One. You continue to stream your gameplay using the Twitch app or by connecting to a PC and streaming via software such as OBS or XSplit. So there's their frequently asked questions there. So I'm keeping an eye on what's going on specifically with Twitter, and we'll talk about that afterwards. So there it is right there. And quite frankly, I say that's an admission that there was something fundamentally wrong with this platform. And I think we all knew what it was because we saw the COVID-19 quarantine come and go. Well, not completely, but we saw, for example, the quarantine bubble. If you look at year-over-year growth, Mixer is the only of the big platforms, or of the major platforms, that didn't have any growth. So the impression that a lot of folks have gotten, myself included, is that this is something that Microsoft has been mulling over for a while now. And we could have seen the signs, the warning signs coming when resources were pulled away from Mixer, like when the staffing was reduced and things along those lines. Usually when you're talking about a company or a business in decline, you're talking about a situation where there's some kind of plan that's drawn up. And then there's the execution of the plan is how basically a soft landing is the term for what the objective is. Close the business, but have it not be as any more wild than it already is. So, but yeah, this is something that the numbers could have shown us was coming. We all saw this with the numbers, even the numbers that I ran earlier in Excel, talking about how even if there was a massive talent defection to Mixer, they still would not be as big as Facebook Gaming. Let's go back to the Streamlabs and Stream Hatchet quarterlies that we've brought up numerous times at this point, make things a lot bigger. So again, you know, you look at these numbers, total hours watched in Q1, Mixer was the minnow. So this is Q1 2020. Here's YouTube. Facebook is the number 3 here, and you have Twitch with 65% of the market for hours watched. But the thing to remember is that Twitch has the stuffy exclusivity deals. These 3 do not. However, with Mixer transitioning into Facebook, basically this is going to be 2 pieces of the pie, and you're going to have 22-13, so to speak, because Mixer is transitioning to Facebook, or they're trying to facilitate a transition to Facebook. The important thing to remember is that Facebook has its issues as well. As we've discussed in our critique of the rise of Facebook gaming, one of the inherent problems with Facebook is the Level Up program, where the Level Up program, until you're in the Level Up program, you don't really have as robust of technical features as you do on just about every other platform out there. Ignoring Mixer right now, but you know, Twitch maybe, but definitely YouTube. We talked about how, and we've shown various times that YouTube often has no-name streamers with no audience, and yet because YouTube is mature enough that transcoding is a thing on that platform for uploads, you can be a streamer barely starting out on YouTube and have transcoding and the accessibility boost that it has if people are finding your stream who don't have maybe the internet to stream in 1080-60. Or maybe they don't have enough bandwidth between everybody who uses internet in their house to watch something on 1080p 60. So YouTube has its own issues, but I think YouTube is the force to be reckoned with here. And Mixer deciding to go with Facebook in this case is basically the underdog trying to prop up the not-so-small underdog. So I think Facebook has some very serious choices to make because so much of your ability to get any decent anything over on Facebook is dependent upon whether or not you are in the Level Up program. So this isn't gonna this whole thing where Mixer is trying to send people to Facebook is not going to solve any of those problems. Facebook still has some decisions to make internally, just as YouTube does as well. But one of the things that I hope that these two don't do is follow Twitch into stuffy exclusivity agreements, because for the former Mixer streamers like Shroud and Ninja, they posted tweets about they're coming up with new plans and what they're going to do next. Twitch, with its exclusivity and its other issues as well, may not be the best option, especially when we know that Mixer is sending people over to Facebook and helping basically streamline becoming partnered on Facebook. So, here's the thing. Facebook and YouTube, not stuffy about exclusivity. If they stay that way, what this means for all these streamers who are on Mixer, these that had decent followings on Mixer like Shroud and Ninja and whatnot, is they're kind of being pushed in the direction by the shutdown of Mixer to double stream on YouTube and Facebook. Assuming there isn't any stuffy exclusivity from either of these guys, because or they could just not even bother being an affiliate on Twitch if they can even do that. But again, the wild card here is Twitch exclusivity and the thing that Twitch requires of affiliates. So let's say they double stream on Facebook and YouTube Gaming and become partnered on both. They'll get past a lot of the technical issues on Facebook, and if people want to watch on YouTube instead of Facebook, that's an option as well. And so what we have to look at here is what exactly is this going to do to exclusivity? Because Mixer made waves when they were able to get talent from Twitch to change over to Mixer. But we've seen now that even when you sign big names, it doesn't guarantee that your platform is going to be successful. So if this affects the philosophy of what these companies do, now we have to start thinking about, since we know that exclusivity, sweetheart deals and whatnot are not the best thing, at what point, especially again, talking about the progression of multi-streaming and other stuff, at what point does the discussion about about multi-streaming change from multi-streaming hurts businesses like Twitch and YouTube and Facebook to the other way around? Exclusivity, or no, that wasn't it. Exclusivity agreements, that's it. At what point does the discussion now change from exclusivity agreements are something that businesses need to do to defend their market share to exclusivity agreements hold back streamers? At what point is that transition made? Because as we've looked through YouTube, Facebook, and even Mixer's terms of service for people joining their partner programs, the stuffiness and the exclusivity is exclusive to Twitch. So by virtue of being able to skip rungs on the ladder on Facebook, Mixer streamers now have a compelling reason to actually not return to Twitch, unless they can just be a regular user and not even affiliate up. So the question now is, I mean, we already talked about Mixer's golden moment. They could have grown from that, but even then, they would still have been smaller than Facebook. The question now is, are either of these content creators going to consider double streaming and getting double partnered on these two platforms? And what kind of market share, what size are these slices of the pie going to be after Mixer is out of the picture and the results of all of this have taken shape? So we'll have to see what happens. If Twitch doesn't rethink their exclusivity because of this, I don't know what will make them rethink how stuffy they are with the way they treat affiliates and partners. I've heard some Twitch partners talk about the agreements they have with Twitch. And quite frankly, I think some of these partners might be getting snookered into being treated worse as partners than affiliates are treated under the affiliate contract. Because somebody gets them to sign on the dotted line, say, oh yeah, I like Twitch enough, I'll just stream on Twitch all the time forever and ever. So it's another thing that the big shots on Twitch need to think about is, if their contract is up for renewal, should they consider giving some kind of leeway to try other platforms, any kind of consideration whatsoever? I don't think Twitch will spring for it, but these content creators need to seriously think about that. So let's, of course, take a look at Excel here. Here's the numbers from the Mixer's Golden Moment discussion. Do I have an Excel only on here? No, I don't. I just have browser plus Excel. Okay. I might as well just call it Excel and take the browser out of here. Here's our numbers from before, showing that why I'm not surprised with Mixer. Again, 84-23, lowest numbers watched and streamed, and the worst ratio for watch versus stream when it comes to discoverability. And even if we sent over all this talent, you're still talking 363.9 versus Facebook's 553.8. And so we also have numbers here for YouTube and Facebook at the same time, 85 as the discoverability ratio. And then the Frankenstream with Mixer boat anchors that. But once Mixer's out of the picture, the uBook numbers are now numbers to consider when it comes to discoverability. So a ratio of 85.356 versus Twitch's ratio of 25.652. I think things are going to change when it comes to the way Twitch approaches things as the market continues to develop. But it is definitely these three that matter now, particularly these two. Twitch with a ratio last go-round of 25-something, and uBook with a ratio of 85-something. because the folks leaving Mixer are being essentially given a free pass into the partner program over on Facebook. Facebook's issues notwithstanding, they're essentially being encouraged to double stream on YouTube and Facebook, because YouTube is definitely a platform to contend with these days, especially on the streaming side. Maybe not so much for established creators, but definitely for newer streamers, because they've got things like transcoding and stuff down pat. The biggest thing holding back YouTube as a competitor to Twitch is some internal issues with how uploads versus streaming are handled for content creators doing both. The disciplinary system over on YouTube has been improved to the point where there isn't this meta anymore for trying to get people kicked off of live streaming, because they changed over to an account freeze system for disciplinary action. But the biggest issue I have with YouTube is that as a multi-platform content creator, do I really want to put my ability to upload videos on YouTube at risk because of something that could go wrong in a live stream? So, community guidelines strike while streaming versus uploads. And there's some other internal technical issues as well. One of the big reasons why, you know what, let's get my ugly face off the screen here. Let's go back to this chart. One of the issues that I have with YouTube gaming, with YouTube as a streaming platform, is that uploads and streaming are not split off enough from each other, and that includes the technical side as well. So when you're streaming, you're getting real-time evaluated by the algorithm and potentially demonetized without any real chance at content declaration. But on the upload side of things, you can declare what kind of potentially ad-unfriendly content is in your videos. And as I've been seeing, even with talking about social justice stuff, I have been accurate enough with declaring what's in my videos and checking the right stuff on the form that YouTube actually did not demonetize me, even though I talked about Black Lives Matter type stuff for the last two shows. So, and of course, I probably shouldn't talk about YouTube too much, because I'm in the rather embarrassing situation because of this whole Mixer shutting down thing, that the YouTube long-form version of the discussions about Mixer's golden moment are now going to go live after this all went public. So I'm probably going to get some laughs in the YouTube comments sections, or some troll comments like, hey, don't you know Mixer's shutting down? But hey, it's my own fault that I wasn't quick enough getting through my own back catalog with this kind of stuff. So, yep, things are definitely going to change. Next steps for Mixer is they're looking to send people over towards Facebook Gaming. Facebook Gaming, though, has some things they have to fix internally. The real issue is YouTube. And actually, if I go back to Excel, hold on, let me fire up Excel again. The other big thing we have to remember when it comes to Mixer's golden moment is this. YouTube by itself has a better ratio than Twitch. So the other question that these streamers have to ask themselves going over to picking what platform is next is, do they even want to do anything with the free ride on Facebook that they've been given? Or do they want to multi-stream to both of these? Or do they just want to go to YouTube? Or do they want to go to Twitch? Especially when they already have an established audience, so they will chart somewhere in the hierarchies on Twitch, whose system is still very hierarchical. There we go. There's been some attempt, though, at algorithms similar to what YouTube has. So Twitch is trying to do stuff like that, but I just haven't seen them, especially on this stream, haven't seen them at all be all that successful. They've had some people follow, but when I see people follow, they never show up again. So again, it also has to do with how the audience chooses to consume content. Not everybody's nerding it out on Twitch all the time, so it could be the case that maybe someone opens their thing up again and they see that I'm live and they tune in again. But by and large, I'm just not seeing the kind of ability to grow an audience on Twitch the same way it is on something like YouTube. But YouTube has its shortcomings as well, mostly algorithm related. But when it comes to numbers, we all knew this was going to happen to Mixer. We all saw it coming, and I think Microsoft saw it coming as well. When you can have a mass talent defection and still be smaller than Facebook, it means you've lost. And this brings us to a little something that we need to talk about with regards to Mixer itself. Mixer is a warning to the business world about the whole tail wag the dog situations that sometimes happen in business, where a highly innovative company decides to create a business whose business model is largely them responding to problems with an incumbent. So what happens when the incumbents fix their problems? If your entire business model is because you're responding to things that you perceive as not so good with the established players in an industry, what happens if you grow a little, the industry takes notice, and the incumbents clean up their act? That's what Mixer had happened to them. I remember when Mixer launched, there was going to be some things that were better than Twitch, and they were responding to some criticisms on Twitch, like latency, for example. A lot of what makes live streams interesting to a lot of people is the ability to interact with the streamer. However, latency cuts into that. So Mixer comes along with multiple streaming formats, one of which is very low latency. Well, guess what? YouTube, Twitch, and the others fix their latency issues as well. So now the concentrated coolness of Mixer is that much smaller. The other problem I had with Mixer is that where is the compelling reason to go to Mixer aside from just watching streams? Twitch has the tie-ins with Amazon, watch parties, Twitch Prime, things like that. YouTube, of course, has its upload section, and Facebook has Facebook. Mixer had none of that. They essentially turned into the Internet Explorer of streaming sites because of this. It's, once again, a Microsoft product, is known as something that does just enough to be in an industry, but doesn't really knock your socks off any other way. Indeed, the Internet Explorer of streaming platforms, ladies and gentlemen. And this whole tail wag the dog thing is nothing strange or unusual in the world of business. There have been some other companies that have gotten stung by this. Some examples that I can think of is Tesla. I've heard Tesla's been struggling in recent years, but rewind the clock 10 years to the, or actually close to 20 years at this point, 15-ish years or so. There we go. Rewind the clock back to the late 2000s when the Tesla Roadster came out. Up to that point, electric cars were little nerdmobiles that were just toys for people that liked a lot of technology. However, here comes the Tesla Roadster, and it's an electric Lotus. It is attractive, it is cool looking, it is fast, it has good range, it has good charge. It's awesome. And it's expensive because Tesla was trying to recover the R&D costs of that sort of stuff. Or back then, I should say Tesla Motors. Now, let's suppose the other... As soon as the Amazon speaker stops, let us suppose that the car companies respond to Tesla. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Chrysler, Nissan, Toyota, everybody else who makes some kind of electric car. And they make electric cars that are more practical, following in Tesla's footsteps, so to speak. While Tesla goes in the other direction, because they're known for making expensive sports cars, they try to dial it back with some of the model this, model that, stuff that Tesla's been making in more recent years. So they started with super expensive sports cars, and then they dialed it back a bit to be closer to the mainstream market, while the incumbent companies in the auto industry just made their electric cars more interesting. And they went in that direction. So Tesla started with something attractive, and then they moved towards the mainstream. The companies making mainstream electric cars moved towards making them more attractive. At some point, the competitors meet in the middle. The other big example of the tail wagging the dog, and this is going to really resonate with people that are into computers and electronics and gaming. Interesting, because we're talking about Facebook gaming and stuff like that. Another thing we need to talk about, of course, is the Ouya. The Ouya was an Android TV console type thing that had some interesting ideas at a time when Xbox and PlayStation Marketplace were walled gardens. So they were doing some things differently. And they were doing some things that were better than the incumbents. But the incumbents took notice. And next thing you know, there's no reason to buy an Ouya. And Ouya is now a curious footnote in gaming history over the last 10 years. Lastly, the last example of the tail wagging the dog is with our old friend YouTube. YouTube has not been without its attempts at competition when it comes to uploads. And these upload sites for videos very often would build their entire business model off of something that YouTube did wrong. So, when YouTube wasn't sharing ad revenue with creators, along came Revver, as the name might suggest, Revver, revenue. They actually had a way of sharing ad revenue with the platform. So, Revver does its thing for a while until YouTube rolls out ad revenue sharing, which today is known as the partner program. And today is known as being monetized as opposed to demonetized. So, what's the point of going to Revver after YouTube fixes their issue? And the same thing with livevideo.com. I remember livevideo.com was an early competitor of YouTube that did some things that YouTube didn't. There was no time limit on upload length. You had stereo sound. I still have the video talking about why I thought live video was better than YouTube and why it was going to take over. Well, little did I realize back then that all YouTube had to do was fix its problems, and it would have the viewership and everything to make it not worth it to go to live video. The parent company of live video eventually went out of business, and the platform went down. It's another curious footnote in history. And now we have Mixer. A lot of Mixer's claim to fame was stuff that the incumbent streaming sites weren't doing right. So, once the Twitches of the world decide to fix what's wrong with their platform and address what Mixer brought up, what's the point of going to Mixer? Same thing with all the integration as well. I think the big way in which Mixer lost was by not having more integration with Microsoft. I mean, there were people streaming on Xbox and stuff, but quite frankly, there should have been a lot more links to Microsoft stuff for Mixer, just like there is on the other major platforms. Facebook Gaming, links to Facebook type stuff, YouTube to YouTube videos, and of course, Twitch to Amazon. But Mixer to Microsoft, never really saw too much except for a little bit of Xbox stuff. And fundamentally, companies get out of their business units what they put into them. So when it looked like Microsoft was kind of just letting Mixer slide for a while, that should have been the red flag. That there was probably some kind of exit strategy being brewed with Mixer. Lastly, let's have Mixer here be a cautionary tale for anybody who likes to critique big companies and likes to think that, well, if a video or streaming portal doesn't do well, as long as they're part of a big company, that doesn't matter. That is false. As long as, here's the thing, even inside a large business, the business units are being measured in terms of how they're performing, and underperforming units will probably be either shut down, revamped, or sold off. Just because a struggling business unit is in a large company with a lot of money doesn't mean that the large company is going to let themselves get boat anchored by the struggling business unit. And Mixer is a cautionary tale of that. Mixer is also a cautionary tale, of course, don't go into business as a company where the tail's going to wag the dog. And of course, there's other things that you, with whatever opinions you have of Mixer, can draw from all of this. But in any case here, Mixer will be shutting down in about a month or so, and will be taking its place in history. And quite frankly, for folks like myself, we saw this coming. We're going to take an intermission, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at Twitter responses to the Mixer shutdown. This is Multimedia J Radio Style. Don't touch that dial.
257. Multimedia J Radio Style.